Hello everyone out there. My name is Dame Priscilla Pauline Pamela Philomena Clot, but all my friends call me Cilly. That's C-I-L-L-Y, not S-I-L-L-Y. And we've all been missing you here in Pantoland, so I thought I'll pop along just to let you know what we've been up to throughout the year. And what a year it's been. And before you ask, yes, we've had the C word too, with the Queen having us in lockdown. Mind you, she takes us to the deepest, darkest dungeons and leaves us there. That's her version of a lockdown. Now, who would have thought the phrase, "I wouldn't touch him with a 6-foot barge pole," would become national policy? But then here we are. I own the bakery here in Pantoland, Cilly's Crusty Cobs. This is where I bake all my bread and all my delicious delicacies for everyone to enjoy. I like to say I've got the biggest baps in Pantoland. The king himself has his morning toast, his lunchtime sandwiches and his tea time tantalising tropical tangerine tort, and they're all baked here on my premises. I started this business with my late husband Hubert Clot. We met whilst taking part at the Great British Bake Off. One sight of his large farmhouse white. Oh, that was love at first sight. We were blissfully happy and we started up this business together. He was so talented. I tell you girls, what he couldn't do with his rolling pin isn't worth talking about. Everything was going fine until one tragic morning. He was using the giant mixer to make a surprise upside down cake. And yes, you've guessed it. It was the surprise. Oh, it was a terrible loss. All those ingredients gone to waste. Now, I was hoping to have my son Billy with me today, but he got stung on the forehead by a bumblebee. He's in the Norfolk and Norwich hospital. His face all swollen and bruised. He nearly died. But thankfully, I was close at hand so I could hit the bee with my rolling pin 10 times. And now Billy's threatening to report me to the NSPCPC, National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Pantomime Characters. Personally though, I think Billy is a little bit slow. And very strange too. I actually caught him sitting at the dinner table the other day for 4.5 hours staring at the carton of orange juice. In the end I said, "Billy, what are you doing?" And he said, "Well, Mum, it says concentrate." Do you know what? I'm forever telling that boy, wash your hands and don't touch your face with this pandemic about. And I've got the ideal cure, not to touch your face. Put a glass of wine in each hand. No problems. Mind you, my son Billy is a very kind and considerate young lad. I mean, say, he brought me a present at the start of lockdown. Oh, I've never been so pleased. You should see me. I was kissing him all over. And why? Because he brought me 4 toilet rolls. I've never been so pleased. You should have seen me though when he brought my second gift, a kilo of self-raising flour. Oh, heaven. All this time spent with my son Billy has got me reminiscing. And one of my fondest memories is one day I took Billy down the White Horse and I thought, I know, I'll buy him a pint of Guinness. Anyway, he took a sip, he didn't like it, so I drank it. I thought maybe that's a bit too strong for him. So I thought, I know, I'll get him a ghost ship. No, he didn't like that either. So I drank it. I thought, I know, something a little bit smoother. How about a local lager? No, he didn't like that either. So I thought, I know he needs something sweeter. Maybe a woodpecker cider. No, he didn't like that either, so I drank it. So I thought, if all else fails, I'll get him a malt whiskey. And he didn't like that one either. So guess what? Yeah, I drank it. And before I knew where I was that drunk I could barely push the pram back home with Billy in it. Then I started to think about my own childhood. I had a really happy time growing up, although we were very poor. For breakfast we had to make do with ordinary K. And my mother used to send me round to my next door neighbours with a button in my hand, hoping that they would sew a blouse onto it. But still, we still had fun. We made our own amusements. Dad would often take us to the top of the hill, put me in a tyre and push me down the hill. They were good years. We've missed so much this year due to the pandemic. I had planned a big 35th birthday bash. I know what you're thinking, same as me. Who'd believe it? Me, 35! I told Billy I was approaching 35, and he asked me, Mum, from which direction? What a cheek. There I was, celebrating my birthday on a Tuesday, and that was Wednesday. Still, at least that gave me plenty of time to sing happy birthday to myself. Well, at least 10 times anyway. But to be honest, at my age, my joints are more accurate meteorologists than the National Weather Service. Now my Billy, he bought me a lovely birthday present, a world map and a dart, and said, Mum, I want you to throw the dart at this map, and wherever it lands, this is where I'm going to take you for 2 weeks when the pandemic is over. Well, it seems as though we're going to spend 2 weeks behind the fridge freezer. Yeah. So tell me, girls, how are you getting on wearing these masks? Personally, I think wearing a mask is like wearing a new bra. 1, they're very uncomfortable. 2, you only wear them in public. And 3, if you don't, everyone notices. See, now I was talking to her old mother, Hubbard, the other day. Do you know what? She couldn't get her hand on a bone all through lockdown. Now she says wearing a mask is like wearing new pants or knickers. They've got to be very snug fitting. You only wear them in public, but you mustn't adjust them in public. You mustn't lend them to anybody or borrow them. You have to wash them regularly, and if they get damp, then you have to change them. I'll leave you to ponder on that one. Now, I suppose I should tell you about the little thing that I was given the other day. Something that I've been waiting for ages and always wanted to get my hand on it. It's the King's Cock. Get your minds out of the gutter, if you please. This is a family message. The King's Cock is the Considerate, Open-Hearted, Caring Kindness Award. This award is given to the citizen of Pantooland who shows great compassion and caring to fellow Pantooland citizens. I've been helping everybody in Pantooland during lockdown. First of all, there was poor old Humpty Dumpty. Now, when he fell off the wall, I sat with him until all the king's horses and all the king's men arrived. And when they couldn't put him together again, I sat with him all night with a tube of new nails sticking him back together. I helped Jack and Jill when they fell down the hill. I fetched all the water for all the citizens in Pantooland. And also the Grand Old Duke of York, I helped him out when he was blighted with gout. I marched his men to the top of the hill and down the other side. Mind you, I did quite enjoy being surrounded by all them men in uniform. And wait till I tell you how I helped little boy Blue out with his horn problem. Now girls, since lockdown, have you found that you've put on a little bit of weight? I know I have. But to tell you one thing, I actually went to my wardrobe the other day and found something that I hadn't put on for 5 years. And yes, it still fitted. I was so happy. That was my favourite scarf of all. So tell me, girls, have you thought about going on a diet? I know I have, but the closest thing to a diet I've come to this year is arousing food searches from my browser history. Now, girls, did you see that Joe Wicks on FaceTube? Now, he could help me diet. There's a man born to wear lycra. I private messaged Joe the other day and said, can you help me do the splits? He replied, how flexible are you? And I said, well, I can't make a Tuesday or a Thursday. Now, our local school has now become an academy. They're sponsored by IKEA. The standards are very high, but assembly takes a very long time. I went to the doctor's last week. Nothing too serious, but I went in and I said, look, doctor, I said, I'm getting really fed up finishing my crosswords too early. And he went, Cilly, don't get too down. Thought, please, what advice. He then said, I need less excitement in my life. So I've started supporting Ipswich Town. And then he said, what I really need to do is make a bucket list. Now that was really hard. I've only got 3. A big one, a small one, and one with a hole in the bottom. Well, as they say, all good things must come to an end. And I must go now. I've got to put my buns in the oven ready for the King's tea. I look forward to seeing you all again next year, although I'm not sure which year. And remember, this will end soon, like a pantomime. Not with a wedding, but with the baddie being defeated and everyone living happily ever after. Goodbye. Billy! No, you'll have your eyes out. Do you know what? If brains were dynamite, you wouldn't have enough to blow your nose.